social media is the best personal development program ever created. You want to confront your insecurities? Go try to talk to your phone and publish it on the internet.
Dan is a SaaS entrepreneur who's built and sold 3 SaaS companies. He is an investor, having built a portfolio of companies doing over $100 million. And today is one of the biggest names in the space.
If you're truly on a growth journey, then you can't be the same person you were a year ago.
In order to build the new you and build the new life, the old you has to die.
It all comes down to just identity. There's beliefs about what you believe you deserve or who you are, and then there's the decisions you make based on those beliefs. You can build $1 million business with an audience, reach, but you can build $1 billion business with reputation.
Welcome to this episode of Elevate. Today I am joined by a man who I have a lot of respect and admiration for, all the way from Canada, Mr. Dan Martell. Dan is a SaaS entrepreneur who's built and sold 3 SaaS companies. Today he is an investor, having built a portfolio of companies doing over $100 million. In the last few years, Dan's decided to put a lot of effort into giving back and building audience on social media, and today is one of the biggest names in the space. The reason why I have an affinity to this man is, as a new father myself, I find Dan to be perhaps the best example of a man who is accomplished in every area of life. He is a loving father, he is a smitten husband, he's an exceptional entrepreneur and investor, he's obviously in peak physical condition, and that example is so important for so many men and women around the world. Hailing all the way from Canada, here in Sydney, Australia, Dan Martell, welcome.
Jack, it's an honor. You didn't put in my, and just a comedic genius? You
Yeah,
want to throw
that was going to be the main
people are very impressed with just how funny I am in person. Just throwing that out there. I get it all the time.
Retake.
No, I think they're getting it right now. They're like, oh.
He's really funny as well.
No, every time I meet people, I like make fun
handsome.
of them. They're like, oh, geez, you're not as serious as I thought. Anyways, it's an honor to be here.
You too, brother. Thank you very much for being here. Dan, your transformation over the last 12, 18, 24 months has been truly extraordinary to witness. I want to play you an interview of you 18 months ago, who is clearly an exceptional entrepreneur, an investor, an exceptional human being, but it's not the same Dan that's sitting here today. So I just want to play this quickly.
A lot of people know me as a software guy. So I run the largest CEO coaching company called SaaS Academy in the world for software entrepreneurs. They have like 1,000 active clients. Father of 2 Irish twins, 11 months apart, which is a gnarly thing to experience. It's like having, it's like having.
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy? What's been happening over the last 18 months, and how have you driven such a radical transformation in yourself, in your businesses, in your brand?
What I see in that, I always tell people, if you're truly on a growth journey, then you can't be the same person you were a year ago. And if you're really like committed to it, there's like this jokey thing I do where I introduce myself again, and they're like, what are you doing? I go, well, I'm not, but I'm not the same person. I can't be, because my perspectives are different, my points of views, my beliefs. And what changed was 18 months ago deciding to go all in on creating content. And it's not like, oh, you want to be an influencer, you want to be a guru, you want to be a content creator. No, it was just like, I was lying to myself. If I truly want to have impact, and I know how to do it, because it's not like I hadn't been publishing YouTubes for 9 years every week and haven't missed a week. I was lying to myself in regards to just like going all in. I always joke with people, it's like the difference, what changed for me was the difference between having a marketing department and having a media company.
Right.
And my book came out, Buy Back Your Time, and the success of that book made me realize that the thing I've been asking for my whole life I was given, but yet I almost got distracted to go do the software stuff yet again, which I've been doing for 27 years. So I remember I had this like crisis where I was going about my life and everything was great, and then realized I was lying and I was full of crap. And
what were you lying about?
I was lying about just what is the point of all this? Like, it's not about making more money. It can't be. It was about trying to help other people. And if I truly want to help other people, why wouldn't I go all in on content? There's nothing I was doing at the time. Till the book came out, I was like, I don't even need to write a book. That's silly. I'm built by books. 1,600 books later. I mean, that's dumb for me to think like, oh, books aren't important. They changed my life. They saved my life. And then what happened was just this honest conversation about, I think, two areas that I always go to whenever I think of, am I committed, is my bank account and my calendar. And when I looked at my bank account, I was like bragging at how little I spent on marketing and how little time I invested in. I used to teach this dude. I'd be like, hey, for 2 days a quarter, you can create 9 days worth of content.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I wonder why my YouTube's not growing, or I wonder why like I don't have any followers on Instagram. It's like, dude, you're like trying. It's like the entrepreneur versus the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur brags about how little he works.
Yeah.
Right. Versus the person that actually builds a real business. They're like, look, I do what I need to do. And so it just came down to, the money, which I decided unlimited budget, which was crazy. I called up my buddy Sam and I said, hey, I'm going to build this thing. I'd love for you to be part of it. He lived 4,000 miles away.
Wow.
Yep. And I said, you got to be here in a couple weeks. Next thing you know, he showed up at my front door.
Wow.
Yeah. Him and his buddy Matisse, who's bigger than Sam. I was like, okay, I guess I have two protein bros, 200 pounds of muscle just staying. Renee, my wife's like, how long are they staying? I was like, like a week. A month later, they're still in the basement. And then my calendar, which required me to renegotiate everything in my life, all my business partnerships, all my boards, all my advisory roles, all my stuff, like literally went through one call at a time to renegotiate and say, here's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go try to help as many people as I possibly can. And my bet is on the back end of that, everybody else's lives get better. And every partner that I told, I thought they would be upset with me, because I'm talking about like resigning from boards. One company, I just took equity in their company. I gave it back. I said, because I'm not going to have the time to do what you needed me to do that I committed to.
Wow.
And I got to renegotiate.
Wow.
And that was 18 months ago. So what you're seeing is the Dan before that decision. What change is what I believe social media is, which is the best personal development program ever created.
Interesting.
Oh, you want to confront your insecurities? Go try to talk to your phone and publish it on the internet. Right? You want to wonder if you have a unibrow, your ears are uneven, or your voice sounds weird, or you don't know what you're talking about? Go post something on the internet. They'll tell you. So that's what it was, just reps. I've done more reps in the last 18 months than I did in 10 years combined, and then some.
So you see the commitment to go all in on social media as being that first domino that enabled that transformation?
All of it. It was
Wow.
a decision. It's
Wow.
always a decision. It's funny because even in business, most entrepreneurs, the difference between a guy that wakes up and builds a $10 million a year business in 5 years versus a guy that wakes up and builds $1 million a year business in 5 years is the decision to build the business.
Yeah.
They don't work harder.
Yeah.
Both work equally as hard. They're just decisions get filtered out.
One of the things you often talk about, which really resonates with me, is in order to build the new you and build the new life, the old you has to die.
Yep.
And that's, let's say it's sometimes spoken about and almost in a throwaway, almost a cliche kind of way. You actually demonstrate that to the fullest extent. And so can you give us some examples of, some practical examples of the old you dying, whether it's in your case or hypothetical?
Well, I mean, the old me in regards to the person that used to lie to themselves about what he put in his mouth, that guy had to die. Like, it's just, it all comes down to just identity. There's beliefs about what you believe you deserve or who you are, and then there's the decisions you make based on those beliefs. And I believe that the best version of you is available. Like, that's the crazy, people think it's external. It's not, it's internal. You already know what you got to do. You just take like all your best moments, like when you showed up powerfully or showed up with kindness or you showed up with grace or you showed up with humor, like take all the best moments that you might have had in the last 5 years and compress them into one person in one day. That's your potential. That's the 10.0 version of yourself. And anything that is not that, that part has to die. It's the second guessing, it's the insecurities, it's the anger, it's the fear, it's the self-doubt. And, you know, I'm just really good at being honest with myself and just trying to be a little bit better. I'm not perfect either. Like every decision, like the fitness thing, a year ago, it's actually been almost a year to this day. December 14th, we're what, the 12th, 11th? 11th. Yeah. I just woke up and I read a stat that said 22 million people in the US are millionaires and only 3 million have visible abs.
Yeah.
Well, I should probably have visible abs. That'd be cool. That was literally the level of the extent of my thinking. And then it's like, all right, you already know how to get results. Do the thing you teach people. So I focused on rewards, right? What is the reward if I do this? What are the stakes? What are the downsides? So the downside was, and you guys would call them, what do you got, smuggy bugglers or whatever you call those?
Budgie smugglers.
Smuggly bugglies. Budgie smugglers. What do you call them?
Budgie smugglers.
Budgie smugglers. So I had to go on stage at a fitness competition as like dad bod, no tan, no shaved chest. That was the downside if I didn't achieve it. I had 90 days to do it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I always say is you get activated by telling everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. People visualize and they have like vision boards and they do kumbaya in the morning and they like sit there in the energy of like seeing. They don't tell anybody. I'm like, okay, there's this really big part you're missing, which is tell the world, right? Tell the world what we want to go create. So that's how I've been able to just like slowly but surely. And I mean, that video, dude, go look at my photos from when I was 19, 265 pounds full of shit. Like I just over the years keep getting better at detecting and honestly surrounding myself with people that don't allow me to lie to myself. And the media was a big one, deciding to go all in. I also think it's my calling. I actually think that's why they call it the calling, because in between the C and the G is all in. Isn't that cool? I think most people actually know what they should go do. They just don't want to be honest about what their calling is in life. And yeah, so I just went in all in the media side, did the fitness side. 90 days later, got down to 6% body fat. Now I teach that. I know you're in my fitness program, which is super fun. Yeah. You know, bicep veins is cool. I just have fun with it. You see those calls. Like
the McLaren of the body.
Yeah, the McLaren of the body is the bicep vein. And just when I discover something, I think it's just really cool to share with the world. And that's what I try to do.
You are perhaps the most consistent person I have ever seen. And I think that's something that most of us struggle with. You know, whether it's, if you talk about fitness, you know, willpower kind of deteriorates throughout the day, and there's a lot of this in the fitness program, people kind of, you know, sticking to the diet and then lapsing in the final hour of the day, or you go through periods or seasons where you're tired or fatigued and you might lapse on larger habits. You are phenomenally consistent. How do you stay as consistent as you are?
It's a beautiful question. Because obviously if I don't have the results in my life, then there's proof I'm not consistent. And there's been periods where I didn't, right, on all levels. Where I go to now is a few things. One is I only get advice from people who've been to where I want to be, which is just a good strategy. And so like, obviously the messenger giving me the strategy has to be somebody I admire. So that's why like today, most of my coaches are guys that don't coach, that I wire money to. The last coach I hired, $500K, wired it to him and said it's either a donation to the charity of your choice or it'd be really cool if you took some phone calls. Because I know that that investment that I make in myself, the transformation happens in the transaction. Most people don't realize it, but that's proof to you that you are worthy of that investment. Yeah. And then that person has a result that I'm after. So when they give me that strategy, that's the what do I do part, right? So that's one. I always try to get the doing part from somebody that I admire, that I trust. And then usually I tell people, and I use the strategy to just share with you, which is what's the reward? What's the stakes? So upside, downside, and then activated by telling everybody. So I've just gotten really good at being willing to fail in public. Because trust me, there's been times where I've said it publicly and I didn't do it. And then the other thing is I always try to involve other people in the process. I will do more for other people than I'll ever do for myself. None of anything I do, even the content or the physicality stuff, the fitness, is for me. It's for my kids. It's for the energy. It's for my wife. It's for the content I create. It's to not be full of crap. Like, dude, do you know how many there's life coaches out there that are literally 100 pounds overweight and they don't see a problem with that?
It's crazy.
Right? Or you know them, the business coaches that have no business? Yeah. Dude, and this is people was like, well, how do you know they're legit or not? Ask them to name one other person on their team.
Right.
Dude, most business coaches, you can't tell me one person's name on their team.
Right.
Which means they don't have a team, which AKA is not a business. Not a business. So what a crazy concept. So that's the thing is like, once I made a commitment to somebody else and I enroll other people to do it, I'm committed to that. And then I make the public declaration. And I have a strategy that I know works as long as I'm willing to hold that problem long enough. And that's all. I'm just willing to go long periods of time. The key that makes it stick, though, is that the identity shifts. Like, how many times walking to work this morning did you have to talk to yourself out of stopping to buy a pack of cigarettes?
0.
Because you don't
Smoke.
What a crazy concept. So where I try to get to with everything is become the identity. That's why the video you showed in the person that's here, this guy is the person that creates media without even worrying if there's a camera on. I have a camera on me 24/7 now. I'm wearing a mic. I wear a mic all the time. It's on me. I just assume everything I say is going to be put on the homepage of the internet. Do you know how different you live now that you think everything you say, every word you say, every story you tell, every shit talking joke you make could potentially be on the cover of the internet? You just live differently. And I think it's for the better because all of a sudden it's being impeccable with your words, right? Which is a real thing. So the identity part makes it so that it's no longer hard. So a lot of people that have a hard time being consistent, it's because they haven't decided to just make it who they are. So it's always a negotiation with themselves every time they wake up.
Yeah.
Not going to the gym for me would be like walking around without any pants on. It'd feel weird, right? Not doing meal prep would feel weird. Not, not teaching people what I've learned that works for me would feel weird. So like, I'm always thinking about creating content and sharing with other people. I want to die empty. I mean, that's my mission.
You mentioned coaching. You've been coached by some of the greats around, from Ed Millett to now Patrick Bet-David.
The best of the best, yeah.
I know a kind of bugbear of both of ours is a lot of people say they want growth and say they want to build a new identity, but have a reluctance around investing in themselves to do so. Can you talk to the importance of investing in oneself?
Dude.
Red rag to a bull.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the fallacy that people are sold, the thing that people buy that's just not true, is that wealth is created in diversification.
Yeah.
Wealth is created in concentration. You have to take everything you've got and concentrate it into an investment. And that's how every person that we admire, from Elon to Jeff Bezos to you name the rich person, they've all done it. And yet somebody teaches them along the way, like, oh, you have to diversify. That's wealth preservation. If you're still in the creation mode, concentrate. The concentration requires time, energy, and capital. That's why like 14, 15-year-old kids that I mentor in my free youth program, they always ask, like, I got an extra $500. What should I do? Invest it in you. You're the best investment. There's no better investment. Here's why I know that. 8% a year is cool, but 800% is way cooler. That's the potential if you invest in yourself. 2, you will take you with you for the rest of your life. So that ROI of today being better, compounded over the rest of your life, huge ROI. And 3, I call it the concept of like the third levels of luck. Like most people get lucky because the world is lucky. You buy a lottery ticket, you could get lucky, right? Then we all talk to people that were like, hey, if you work your butt off, you have luck. That's like grit luck, like doing the effort luck.
Yeah.
The highest level of luck is where you're the tip of the spear in your industry, like you are here. Yeah. And other people bring their grit luck to you. Yeah. The only way to get there, and then we're talking the Warren Buffetts, literally the best opportunity. Most of my investments today is from people that have watched me based on my reputation, and they've seen what I've done, and they bring me their luck, their opportunities. That has to be on the back end of investing in yourself. There's no person that's ever gotten successful. Every one of them have all invested in books, mentorship, consulting, period. The fact that they have a team is just a different form of investing capital in becoming better.
100%.
So it's like, it's kind of dumb when people, they're like, oh, I don't like to read books. It's like, do you have a mentor? Oh, I don't think I need a mentor. I mean, I already know what I got to do. It's like, are you doing it? No, I'm not doing it, but
maybe one day.
Maybe one day. It's like, okay, keep dreaming, buddy. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, I truly believe when you pay attention. Yeah. And I know for me that if I want an outcome, and I want every part of my life, like the whole spectrum, I call it full spectrum. If I want to get as fast as possible, investing money is the fastest way, period, full stop. Being able to take somebody, like I go on Instagram sometimes and I see somebody's feed and I see them talking about a topic that I'm fascinated in. I'll just ask them, what's an hour of your time worth? And I paid a guy $30,000 the other day. I just thought what he was saying, the way he was saying, is just so smart. 60 minutes. All of a sudden now I've gotten the best of the best of the best out of this person. I also built a relationship. He respected it because he's like, dude, the fact that you're just willing to throw down, like tells me you're serious. Right. And some people, I'm not saying it has to be that much money. I'm just saying offer to pay for it, show up, take good notes, and be a good mentee. Follow up in a couple weeks and let them know, based on what you shared with me, here's what I did to impact in my life.
And because you are also all in on this investment of self. It's really interesting you mentioned that the team is an investment in self. I'd never viewed it that way. I think at a subconscious level I've thought of it that way, but I've never languaged it like that. I remember you told me a story that you also got Hormozy in to, I think it was SAS Academy for a day or two. Paid an extraordinary amount of money to audit the funnels.
Dude, I got the best deal. You couldn't even get them today.
Right.
Yeah, and it was a serious investment.
It's a serious investment.
Yeah.
The reason I wrote is most wouldn't do that.
And he was a friend. Like, this is what's crazy.
Right, yeah.
He's somebody, him and Layla have been friends for years at this point.
Right.
But here's a person at the time, this was 4 years ago, before his social media stuff.
Right.
And, I was just looking at it and I was like, we could go execute this strategy, or we could hire somebody that I think would bring a perspective that none of us have. Because the truth is, if you're building anything for the first time, you don't know how to do it. So the only way is to find somebody who's been there before and they can give you some direction. Yeah. I can have all the ingredients and not follow a recipe and create a mush out of all those ingredients. Or I follow the recipe that was handed to me and create a beautiful chocolate cake. That sequencing comes from experience. I'd rather pay for that. So we hired him for a day. He absolutely over-delivered, and we all walked away with a clear blueprint for how we were going to scale the next year. But I've done this. I do this all the time. Yeah. Like even this morning, there was a guy I met, and I was like, I'm going to hire that guy to help this team because they're working on a project that need that expertise. Like, it's just faster. I don't know why people don't realize that if you've got spare capital, your only decision should be, where can I invest it to go be better?
100%.
And trust, and this is why a team is 100% an investment in yourself. Anything that tells you that you're worth it is an investment in yourself. Think about that. Paying for a really expensive gym membership, paying for a business coach, paying for an office space. You know how rare this is in our space? Dude, most people are remote and they don't want they don't even want employees, dude. They want part-time people all over the world, and it's flexible and it goes up and down, and I'm just like, dude, build something for real.
Build something.
It's so rare, So when I see what you've built here, I'm like, okay, Jack's somebody that's like legit. He's an operator. He really wants to do it because you're telling yourself that you're building for the future.
100%.
And I think that's what people don't realize when they make these short-term decisions and they try to scrimp and save and be cheap. Dude, I have a guy that everybody would know. He's a friend of mine. I love him. And he's the cheapest mother I've ever met. And that dude, every time he calls me out for advice, I tell him who the person is. And he goes, does he have a book? I'm like, no, he doesn't have a book. He's going to solve your problem, dude. Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah. No, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. I'm like, dude, stop calling me, man. Like, you're not serious. It kind of blows my mind that, like, the most thing, because what they're telling themselves in that moment is, I'm only worth a book. I'm only worth $30. It's like the same energy that people don't realize, that how you buy is how people buy from you. So if you are somebody who drags their feet, asks 1,000 questions, delay the decision, and then in your sales pipeline, people do the same thing to you, I'm like, good. You do it. Dude, I have a buddy that literally buys stuff and refunds all the time. I'm not even joking. Like, he's got one move, and it's buy a ticket to an event, go to the event, after the first 2 hours, ask for a refund. He's done it 6-7 times. And then he called me one day. I was driving. He goes, hey, dude, I got this guy. He like bought my thing, and then I over-delivered, and then he's asking for a refund. I'm so mad. I was like, dude, it's called karma, man. Like, do you not see the irony of what you're asking me? He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, you did. But I didn't do it that way. I'm like, you did 100% the same thing. So, like, how you buy is how people buy from you. So that's why you want to have an attitude of gratitude. You want to have some abundance in your life. You want to, dude, I walk around, I have money in every one of my cars to give people all the time. Bless them all the time. If you met my kids, they're here.
Yeah.
Hey, go bless these people. You pick. Here's money. Go.
Wow.
Abundance. You should never be in a contraction scarcity mode.
Wow.
Yeah.
On what basis do you decide who to give money to?
I listen to my heart.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not even situational. It could be a grandmother with 2 grandkids. It could be a homeless person. It could be the person that held the door open, my Uber driver. It could be whoever. I listen to my heart. I believe God's talking to us all the time.
That's crazy.
It's my favorite thing to do.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the cool part is it doesn't take money, because the alternative is just tell people how great they are, and that's free. And I teach my kids that all the time. Like literally, if somebody goes out of their way to do something special, just let them know. And it's like, takes nothing and just can literally set them down a completely different path. But again, that energy you put out comes right back at you. So that's why like people see Renee and I do a bunch of stuff with like our community and charitable stuff. And they go, you know, it's nice to see people that give, you know, selfishly. And I'm like, I don't think it's selfishly. Like, I feel really good when I do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm being honest. Like when I help other people, there's a part of it that I feel really great about it. And I think that's okay. And I don't think that I just don't see a world where when people give that it hurts that they keep giving. You know what I mean? Like what if I gave you money and every time I did, you kicked me in the midsection? You know what I mean? I'd be like, probably wouldn't do that anymore. Yeah. And I just think, and I read this once, right behind love, the second most powerful emotion is giving. And I think it's just true. It's why we have kids, because we want to give them a better life than the one we experience. I think it's just like a cool place to get to where your default is abundance, because that's also what goodwill is about. Like giving more. That's why social media, my life has exploded. The Tony Robbins stuff, the John Maxwell, the book being a bestseller, you know, my latest book, Software as a Science, being #1 seller. Like I believe with my heart that that's all in the back end of giving of myself through social media.
Wow.
Not audience though, because you can have an audience and have no influence.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of eyeballs, and those people aren't buying or supporting that person at all.
Yeah.
And it all comes on the back end, I think, of just desiring to see other people win. I think, Jack, for me, it's we receive what we desire for others. So I'm always telling people, like, I want you to have a jet. I want you to have multiple homes. Also, because I want to be on the jet with you and
visiting
stay in your home. And, you know, but I just literally want everybody to win. And I think that's a fun place to just live in.
You said God's always creating through us. And I also, to add a little bit of my perspective to that, I think that God is working through us as individuals, often perhaps to the extent that we're showing up and working for ourselves and working in service of something greater than us. And so the reason I add that is I see God working through you to an extremely high degree. You were having a chat with Ed Millett not so long ago, and he said, is it worth it operating at this level with everything that it takes, and, you know, the risks and the notoriety and the obligations and all of that kind of stuff? And one of the pieces of your answer was, I couldn't do it without God. And so I'm very selfishly interested in two things. Firstly, what did you mean by that? And secondly, what or who is God for you?
I only wish I knew, and honestly, I don't even want to say that because it's not the right thing to say. I didn't know God for a long part of my life. He was always there. And that was beautiful. I had somebody the other day leave a comment on my YouTube. They're like, man, this is all great until you mentioned God, and then I realized you're an idiot. You don't know shit. And I laugh, and I go, it's cool you don't believe in him, but I bet you sure miss him. Gotcha. I got him. I knew I got him. And if I didn't get him, I got everybody else that read that comment. I just know that there's like the capability that I have inherently into my DNA and my psychology and who Dan is. And then that's like my ceiling. And then there's God's floor where it takes over. And there's no way the stuff that happens in my life today is Dan. It's zero chance. The synchronicity, the beautiful aspect of it, the connections, it's just, in hindsight, it looks almost designed. The irony is you got to live it forward.
Yeah.
Life, when you look backwards, perfect. I went through this to get me ready for this. They got me ready for this. They got me this. They introduced me to this. But living forward, we like run through these challenges and we're like, this sucks, or I don't get it. I read it once. It was said, you know, our goal is to let go and let God. Man, when I am in the face of massive challenges and setbacks and, you know, everything from an injury before an Ironman to a financial mistake, like I literally go, hey, God, I need you on this one. Like I ask myself 2 questions. One, what would love do? I think it's a beautiful question. No matter how pissed off I am at somebody, I go, what would love do? I'm like, I don't want to do that, but really?
That's what love would do.
Dude, my wife got me the other day, and I'm like, oh, Dan. You know what I did, man? I went in the bathroom. I laid on my back on the floor. Love told me to go sit there and just say sorry. Like a wounded animal. Like, you can't attack me. I'm on my back in the bathroom floor apologizing. I'm not perfect. I'm sorry.
You can't deny that apology.
Don't step on me. Don't kick me. That's what love told me to go do. And I gave it to God, and I said, I'm not that capable. I'm still figuring this stuff out. I just don't know. Like, it's annoying probably to argue with me because I literally go, I'm not good enough yet to have this conversation. I want to be. I'm just not there yet. And I just get quiet every morning and I have a conversation about, like, what should I go do? That's why I say I create in the morning with my creator. All these ideas, these frameworks, you've seen my coaching, like, they're all things that are given to me. They're not mine. It's why actually in my coaching I tell people, it is yours. Use it.
That's crazy.
Don't give me credit.
Yeah.
Don't pay me for it. It's my gift to you.
Yeah.
It wasn't mine. It's older than me.
Yeah.
And I just want to see it used to help other people.
You've literally said that. You've said copy and paste this.
100%.
Do not reference it. Go.
It's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I just think it's just a perspective that allows me to live with a lot of freedom and generosity. And I think it's, I think the 2 things we can all be for other people, okay? If people really listen to this and they're like, hey, I want to be more for my family, the number one thing that you could be for your family is be an inspiration. You could be somebody they admire. Well, right off the bat, if you know that to be true, you've never inspired anybody playing small. So whatever you're doing right now, step it up. I call it add a zero. Add a zero. Add a zero. Add a zero. If it's not adding a zero, I don't want to talk. You see me. It's just, I'm not doing it. It's like, it's not interesting because adding a zero will force you to become a completely different version of yourself. Adding a zero puts you against the wall to give up and let go and let God. And I'm a big fan of that. And then the other thing is I think that if you've had the privilege of getting out of your situation in any form, shape, like whatever, it's your responsibility to send the elevator back down. That's why I do all the work I do at at-risk youth. It's like, my journey makes no sense, dude. That's why, like, God's been there the whole time. I didn't see it. And now it's like so crazy. And I'm like, hey, what else can we do? Like, what do you want to do? So what does God mean to me? God is, I don't know. Like, if you read any spiritual text, it all says the same kind of stuff. And it's all love, and it's I am, and it's you're not your ego. There's heaven and hell. I think, somebody said, I forget who it was the other day, they were talking about astronauts, and they call it there's a phenomenon called like the event awareness, or there's a name for when they're out in space and they can see the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah.
And they say most people die and go to heaven. And the astronaut said, no, most people are born and go to heaven, because if you actually look at Earth, everything else is black. So when you're born into this beautiful blue marble, in many ways, this is our ability to experience consciousness and awareness and spirituality. I just think it's the coolest thing. And anybody that you watch or listen to that inspires you, it's because you're supposed to do the same thing. You've heard me say this, you acquire what you desire. If you see a cool car, it's like, go get it. It's yours. You see a cool house, you should actually go desire it. Like, you should go get it. It's yours. So I don't know. I just think like becoming the best version of yourself and then sharing yourself with the world is actually the winning formula.
That's really powerful. Another key thing that has really resonated with me in terms of the work that we've done together, that sort of flows on from the conversation we're just having, is you talk a lot about subtraction. And prior to coming across you, I was more of an add kind of a guy, like add.
Yeah, make it better.
Yeah, do more. And over the last 12 months, playing with that subtraction principle has been powerful in every aspect of life. Can you talk to us about subtraction and why that's so powerful?
Yeah, I mean, I look at everything like a manufacturing process, kind of crazy, but just how my brain works. I'm a software developer. If you think about like a manufacturing shop has raw materials, it goes through a process, and on the other side, you have finished goods. And to the degree that you make a ton of different things in the same manufacturing plant, it just slows things down. So like you can't make cars and water purifiers and microphones in this, but people do this in business every day. 100%. They do it every day. They're like, I have this like thing I do over here, but it's kind of similar to this other thing. So we do both of them. And I know
we're about
it's
to start a magazine.
Yeah. And then my buddy told me I should invest in his other thing. So what I've discovered through trial and error is that to scale, okay, and for me, scale is kind of the 8 figures plus, like really the 10 to 30, 50 million of scale. Scale is scale. That what's impressive to me is trying to dilute what you do to nothing less than the essence of what's required to scale. And that's actually the job of the entrepreneur, is not to create. Do you ever remember the Simpsons episode where Homer designed a car? And it was just like this Swiss Army car. Nobody bought it, but he loved it because it did everything that Homer wanted. That's kind of the visual I think about for most entrepreneurs.
That's
is that
such a good analogy.
they just keep getting feedback from a team member. It's like, you should do this, or I could do this, or a mentor tells you this, right? And what I'm always thinking about is, what can I take away and it still works? And in the engineering principle, it's always about first principle, which is what's the least amount of effort? Because as soon as you add something, there's overhead and complexity. There's overhead in inventory, there's overhead in tracking, there's overhead in training and SOPs, raw material required, quality control. Like there's all this overhead that is 80% of the effort of 20% of the effort is the decision to do it. So the decision to do it's not the hard part. It's not even doing it. It's maintaining it and the administrative overhead of that. So I always look at like, I've got a value proposition and I got a payment. And to the degree that I can have those things transact with the least amount of moving parts, that's actually impressive to me. So the language I like to use is clever. Because when you ever see like, we have these Yeti coffee mugs in US or whatever, I don't know if you guys got them here, and the lid to open it is a magnet. You ever seen that? It's like, do you know what a Yeti mug is? No. Anyways, it's like it's like a coffee mug. It's got a plastic lid, but the clip part is a magnet that slides open and close using whatever. And I look at that and I go, that's clever.
Yeah.
Why? There's no moving part that can break.
Yeah.
It's easy to clean, and it's just a really smart way to solve that problem. When I hire team members, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that can solve problems that are clever. So, instead of saying, hey, we should add this thing, hey, we got this other thing that we're already doing, can we monetize it, right? That's called monetizing the sawdust. Or another one of my strategies I like to teach is to turn your expenses into an income, right? So like we used to run these events, they were delivery events, they cost us. All of a sudden we said, hey, we have audience and we have expenses, why don't we turn them into income? All of a sudden we started selling advertising to the events became a profit center. So we took something that was an expense and we turned it into income. I mean, Amazon is famous for doing this with AWS, which is their hosting service, that is now arguably spun out as its own company, the largest software company in the world. Isn't that crazy? So I just think clever is more interesting than complex.
Significantly more interesting, significantly more effective, and often challenging, right? It's
That's
hard.
what's hard.
That's what's hard,
Yeah.
is the simplification.
Dude, this is why when people talk to me, I can almost tell how many reps they have on a problem based on how they explain it.
How simply they explain it.
Did you know this? This morning I was talking to an entrepreneur. I was like, what do you do? Dude, I'm not even joking. 17 minutes later, I stopped and said, I'm still not clear what you do. And then I was like, walk me through exactly when somebody buys from you, what it is you give them. And then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. And I repeated back to her and she's like, yeah. And I was like, so this is why you have a marketing problem.
Right.
Because you don't even know what you do in a succinct way, because she was getting into the weeds of stuff. And I get that stuff's cool, but it doesn't, it's not the thing to have a conversation to a potential prospect.
Yeah.
Like all this other stuff is cool after you get paid. Till you get paid, just talk about these three things. And I think that's what you see in a mature person that's built built a business. It's like an executive assistant. Like a lot of people, they read my book and they're like, how do I work with an executive assistant? And I'm like, to me, it's simple. There's two things they got to be really great at: your calendar and your email. Your email is literally a public to-do list for your assistant. Just give them access to it. First pass, not you filtering and looping them in. Literally let them process. And your calendar, stay out of it. Explain to them what's important to you in the buckets of things you'd like to do on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. Let them produce your life. Like literally look at it as like the production of my life, deferred to somebody else, so that then we can be here in this moment without wondering, what do I got to do for that next thing? Did I buy that thing? Did I send that email? Did I confirm? Does that person know I'm coming? Do I have the address? Oh my God, I forgot to ask what address it is. No. I'm here with you. Everything else I got.
Another thing you talk about that I think sort of builds onto this quite well is that no is a full sentence. It doesn't require any further explanation. And again, I think that the reason I ask the question is I see you embody that principle so well. And so can you explain to us what you mean by that?
Well, not only can I explain, I'll give everybody listening a resource, because saying no is saying yes to your dreams and goals. So most people don't realize that a yes is a no to your future and a no is a yes to your future. Because by definition, if somebody else asks you for something that wasn't on your radar to do, it's probably not the thing you should be doing, because you already thought about what you should be doing, so you should just do that. You can write it down and review it in the quarterly planning, but to say yes to something now that wasn't on your plan is literally saying no to something you already agreed to do. Because I don't know how many people are running around with a bunch of extra time. So I have an executive assistant playbook. Everybody can go grab it. If you want, just follow me on Instagram, message me EA, and I'll send them the direct Google link. So Dan Martell on Instagram, 2 Martell. In there, I have ways that I've taught my assistant to say no. Because that is probably the hardest part for people to be okay with, is having somebody else process and say no on your behalf. So I have these really beautiful ways, like appreciate the consideration. Unfortunately, I'm already overcommitted. Right? I'll use my family. I think having kids is the coolest friggin' little hack in the world, right? Like how many times have you been at a party and be like, oh geez, the babysitter, dude, it's my favorite part about having kids. No, I'm just kidding. It's not my favorite part, but one of the best parts about having kids is using them to like get to bed. And it is totally cool and awesome. And I do it all the time. So, but just understanding actually how to process opportunities and say no really quick, I think is the definition of a mature entrepreneur, and what you will see in absence of an immature entrepreneur, which is so scared that they won't have enough opportunities, they say yes to everything. Whereas if you're confident in your strategy and what you're building towards, and you've already made the thinking time to figure it out and sequence it, then it's really just about execution, right? So like my assistant says no to 98% of the stuff on my behalf before I ever see it, because I've already communicated to her what's important to me. And that's why I'm here doing this pod, because I told her I want to do this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And then no to 98% of the noise.
Yeah, it's beautiful. No conversation would be complete without talking about social media and the growth of social media. It's one thing that our members and clients and audience have been looking forward to me talking to you about. So we started at the top by talking about just how the transformation you've gone on over the last couple of years, and just how large the influence that you have built. What do you think have been some of the key drivers to your audience growth and your influence growth over the last couple of years?
Well, I mean, last 18 months is really where 94%. I think we've added 3 million followers up from nothing. Last month, we did 140 million views across our platforms.
Wow.
140 million views, which blows my mind. I always think of it this way. It comes down to reach and reputation. And everything you want, your vision board, your to-do list, your goals, all comes down not to who you know, but who knows you. Right? If you actually think about pie in the sky, crazy dreams, like I'm talking like craziest. Let's say, you know, one of mine is interviewing The Rock on his jet. Nice. What would need to be true for that to happen? Like this is not a Gantt chart in a project plan. Like there's no amount of to-do listing that's going to get to the sequence of things. Just like getting on stage at Tony Robbins' Business Mastery, which I now speak on like as a regular. That is not a to-do list. That is you putting yourself out there and creating value before somebody ever meets you, so that by the time they have a thought of somebody that could help them, they think of you. Yeah. And that's where I always say that, like, you can build $1 million business with an audience reach, but you can build $1 billion business with reputation. So that's what I think a lot of people don't realize, is that when you are the person in your category that everybody wants to collaborate with, then all of a sudden, back to the luck concept of like people bringing you their good opportunities, that's where the $1 billion opportunities, that's where you see it with Mr. Beast right now with Beast Games, with his Feastables brand. You see it with the Paul brothers. You see it with Rob Dyrdek on his incubator that he does, the Dyrdek machine. You see it with Ryan Reynolds, right? The media, the Kardashians forever, and like many others. But it's getting to the point now that attention, and Hormozi talks about this, attention is the new oil. But you can have attention and no influence, and it's not worth anything. It's like fool's gold. But if you actually lead with value and entertainment and have integrity, that's the reputation side. Some people have massive reach, but they have no good reputation. So I would say fix that first. Yeah. Then go work on the audience. But on the back end of reach and reputation is your vision board. It's right there. Like whatever's on your vision board, from the cars to the houses to the business to the impact to the charity stuff. Like I had a friend that never invested in social media, didn't submit anything to his Facebook or nothing. And then he had one of his employees have cancer, and he's like trying to start a crowdfunding campaign to raise money for his employee, and begs me to go share it on my profile. I'm like, dude, I told you 15 years ago to build an email list, to build an audience, to build a community, to add value, so that someday, somehow, you might need it, right? So if you think about it, like everything that you want to create is going to come with problems. And the only thing you got to know, and this is where it used to be like, who do you know? Because those people would solve problems. It's who knows you, so that you can reach out and get those problems solved. So because I've 140 million impressions in the last month and only growing, I know that when I need certain people to solve massive problems in my life that I will go create, because the size of your problem is the size of your life, they'll be available to me because of that. And when you think about trying to distill it all down to one thing, that's the one thing. It's literally that.
Sam talk about it. It's the first domino to everything else that we
Everything else is on the back end of reach and reputation.
Yeah.
Period, full stop.
Yeah.
Like the big stuff, not the 10 million a year business, the $1 billion opportunities is on the back end. Access, invites, influence. It's fascinating that it took me this long, and I'm grateful that I didn't wait. And honestly, I might not have been ready any sooner. I might not have had enough know-how or be willing to do it. You know what I mean? Because it comes with all, like, the upside is 9 times better, but there is downside.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, like it is a personal development boot camp dealing with the stuff that, the haterade that is thrown at you. It's fascinating. Some of it's just so clever. I just kind of laugh and do a little clap. I'm like, wow, that's good. That comment
you made up.
Yeah. Wow. I actually think that's funny.
It's inventive.
Yeah. Super creative. You're crazy, but and you will find out that a lot of these people are just confused fans.
Yeah.
The haters are literally, they're literally confused fans.
Interesting.
Oh, I just sit back and say, wait 6 months. That person that talked crap about you today, think about how crazy it is. You followed my content. I didn't send it to you. So you found me, watched it, listened to it, and left a poopy comment. I know what happened. You're going to go down the rabbit hole. Who is this guy anyways in the search? Dan Martell's wife and Dan Martell's net worth. And dude, I can see my search terms. I know what you're looking at. Yeah. And then slowly they're like, oh, I like that. Oh,
that makes sense.
I kind of agree with that one too. And next thing you know, they're like, yeah, Dan, fire emoji. I'm like, gotcha. Dude, I have a great example. I literally have a guy that talked shit to me, and I blocked him. And just because he was just so dumb. And then on YouTube, 3 months later, he left a comment. He said, my favorite channel, I only wish you would unblock me on Instagram.
Wow.
And then I went and found him on Instagram to find out why I blocked him, and I found the message he sent me. And then I was like, let's try round 2. don't say shit like this. And he's like, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Thank you so much. I was just like,
Wow.
that was just a perfect example of literally haters are your confused fans.
That's such a powerful principle.
All the time, man. I mean, why would they pay attention? It's so weird. I
Yeah.
don't pay attention to people I don't like.
No. Martell Media has become an exceptional example of, you know, a very high performance media business, to the point where it's got attention from everyone from YouTubers to entrepreneurs to everybody's kind of looking at it as a world's best practice model. Can you talk to us a little bit about the makeup of the team, the composition of the team, what you guys are building at
I'd love to.
Martell
It's
Media?
one of my favorite. I mean, every business I build is better than the previous one just because I bring all the lessons learned. So Martell Media is an exercise in simplicity and scale. So essentially it starts as a media company, because I always say, let's build a media company, not a marketing department. And if either one is in conflict, revenue or media, and that's what we call those two departments, media always wins. So there's an unlimited budget for media. There's definitely not an unlimited budget for revenue. And because that's the whole mission of the business, is to be the example. It's one of our core values, be the example, and just like share that. And I always say I'm provoking my friends into being better, you know, with their lifestyles or their decisions or supporting other people or even creating content. Like I want all my, I make them do it. You know this, it's like there's 5 daily non-negotiables. You have to create content if you're in my coaching. And that was the essence of why we started it. And then we decided to launch a very simple business coaching model on the back end. Like it's so simple. People are like, is that it? It's like, yeah, that's it. It's a call with me once a week for 90 minutes. And it's my favorite part of my week because I get to pour into people that are super hungry and motivated, people that have read my book, follow my content. And I think that's the coolest part about marketing, if you do it right, is your marketing will help more people than your product or service ever will. So more people are benefiting from my free content and always will because it's actually pulled from my coaching. So I teach people, like literally help people that pay you proximity and nuance and context. And then as you're answering their questions, clip it out and put it on social media. So like all my content is just me helping people. And then the people that are like, oh, I like what he said there, I'd like some more of that, then they can come closer. So that business, I mean, we're on a $25 million run rate in 16 months.
Crazy.
Yeah. And we are one of the fastest growing entrepreneurial brands right now. If you look at like the top 5 in the world, we might not have the largest audience, but we're the fastest growing. And that's just because it's all we focus on. You know, what you focus on expands. And I wake up every day. I mean, I look at my analytics probably 4 or 5 times a day. Sam literally travels with me. I mean, he lives by himself and he has a beautiful girlfriend and he has a separate life, but like we're joined at the hip. Like when I travel, he's with me, not because I need somebody to hold the camera, because we actually have other people typically that will travel with us. It's because he's my creative partner. And we're always talking about like show formats, distribution, edits, creative, you know, language, you know, just what can we do to create more value for the world that's aligned with who I am? Because like that's the other thing. I think you should just create content around who you are. Like I don't like sit down in a studio and create content other than my YouTube channel. But even that is extracted by who Dan is. Like I just live my life, we capture it, and if it makes good content, unfortunately, there's a lot of capturing and not a lot of usage sometimes. I'm like, nothing?
That's
like,
how our mutual friend Taki Moore describes you in a very complimentary way. He says, Dan lives an amazing life, and he's an amazing person, and he builds businesses around it.
That's just how I do it. Yeah. I just want to live my life and keep it simple and it can't feel like work. Yeah. It's not because I'm afraid to work. I'm afraid to do something I won't love to do for the rest of my life. So like even the way I create the media is a way that I could do it for the rest of my life. Yeah. It's not heavy. There's not like overhead. There's no scheduling conflict. Now I pay a premium for that by building a team, but on the back end, it's turned out to be a really smart decision, but I would have done it even if there was no financial upside. And what's crazy, nobody talks about this on the media side, at scale, the media covers its costs through the ad revenue from the media. Yeah. So our YouTube channel is on pace to cover the production costs of all of our content.
That's amazing.
Through just YouTube.
Yeah.
Nobody told me that when I started. I would have maybe ran a little faster to get there.
I don't think you could have run any faster the last couple of years. Team, you can now see why I have such a high degree of respect and admiration for this man. Do go follow Dan on Instagram, Dan Martell with 2 L's. Get the EA playbook. It is world class. It does work. Message him the words EA. Dan, absolute pleasure, brother. I really appreciate you coming in. I really appreciate the discussion. Looking forward to hanging out the next few days. And thank you very much.
It's an honor. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, man.
Super fun.
If you got value from this episode, do this now. Hit subscribe and leave a comment. That's what helps us to grow this show, attract world-class guests, and keep bringing you powerful conversations that move the needle.